Kuzuzampo, a very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week, our weekly news magazine program. I'm Sunam Pem. Our top stories. Health Ministry in short of more than 2,000 medical professionals. Water Flagship Program to take care of irrigation too. And 30 athletes take part in Bhutan's first weightlifting championship. The Health Ministry is in short of 2,201 medical professionals at various categories, including specialists, nurses and technicians. This is as per the recently released Annual Health Bulletin 2019. Inadequacy of health workers, both in terms of quantity and quality, has been persistent and a critical challenge for the Health Ministry. Although the number of medical professionals has been increasing since 2015, last year it recorded a significant decrease in the number of doctors, nurses, health assistants and basic health workers. The Annual Health Bulletin, however, does not outline the reasons for the decrease. Going by the records of the National Referral Hospital, 2018 recorded the highest nurse attrition rate, with 55 leaving the profession. Of it, about 51 voluntarily resigned. Similarly, this year, 14 nurses voluntarily left the profession so far. However, the shortage of health professionals is likely to resolve with the Parliament passing the pay revision bill last month. With this, the allowances of the health professionals have risen to a reasonable level. The government reserved health allowances as a top priority to encourage and retain health professionals in the country. In addition, during Meet the Press session last month, the Foreign Minister said hiring specialists from India is expected to resolve the medical specialist requirement in the country. He said media reports of the Prime Minister Dr. Lotus Ring practicing on Saturdays have sparked interest among the Indian medical fraternity to come to work in Bhutan. The Health Ministry also signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Bangladeshi Health and Family Welfare in April this year during the Prime Minister's first visit to Dhaka. With the signing, Bhutan is expected to receive a few more specialists and subspecialists. Meanwhile, as per the Health Bulletin 2019, in the last 5 years, the total health workforce, including the administrative and supporting staff, increased from nearly 4,700 to around 5,300. Sunam Pem for BBS News. The Samrup Dzongkhar District Court sentenced a 38-year-old man from Tashiansi to 3 years in prison for criminal nuisance. The convict is found guilty of transmitting human immunodeficiency virus or HIV.
According to the judgment, the convict, a driver by profession, did not disclose his HIV status to the 2 women he had physical relationships with earlier this year. He also did not take any precaution during the sexual intercourses. The man was detected with HIV since 2017 and was on medication. Consequently, both the women were later detected with HIV during a medical examination. The convict was arrested in April and the court ordered him a concurrent sentence with a non-compoundable prison term. As per the Penal Code of Bhutan, a defendant shall be guilty of the offence of criminal nuisance if the defendant knowingly or recklessly creates or maintains a condition including spreading of dangerous diseases that causes injury or endangers the safety or health of an individual or the public. This is Changatoji for BBS News.
The Wangdifoda District Court sentenced 3 Chiok Sokpas of Gase Tsogum Gewok to 3 months each in prison. They were convicted for lack of accountability and transparency and failing to carry out responsibilities. They can, however, pay in lieu of imprisonment.
According to the judgment, the Tsokpas of Khatekha, Khamena and Changkha Chioks did not inform the public of the available community contracts announced during the Gewok emergency meeting held on 19th February. As per the Local Government Act, all members shall make every effort to ensure that people of their respective constituencies are informed of the various plans, policies and programs of the local government. The 3 of them also failed to furnish information on time. The LG Rules and Regulations states that the member concerned shall inform the Chipan of the date, time and value of proposed Zomdu and of the subjects to be deliberated thereat not less than 4 days prior to the Zomdu. The contracts included 2 packages of supplying drinking water to the Geog Office, Basic Health Unit and Agriculture and Livestock Office and constructing a gate for the Geog Office. The works, jointly worth 1.4 million yutam, were awarded to 2 separate groups of community contractors. An individual from Khamit Chiok filed a case against the Geog administration at the court, knowing that some villagers did not receive the community contracts information, depriving them of participation in the development process. The court, however, acquitted the Geog Tsokde chairperson and the deputy chairperson along with 2 other Tsokpas upon a thorough verification and examinations. Following the court order, the contract for water supply and the construction of the Geog office gate are now revoked. But at the site, as you can see here, the former contractors have already started the work. So now, the Geog administration will follow the procedures to continue the work. According to the Geog officials, they will try and complete the activities in the 2nd fiscal year of the current plan. This is Chang Adoji for BBS News, Mongdifoda.
The Office of the Attorney General is reviewing a fraud case involving a former manager of Best Placement Agency. While serving as a manager of the agency, he allegedly siphoned more than 2 million yutam. Over 12 students had applied to go to Malaysia on Learn and Earn program, but were allegedly duped by him.
According to the OAG, the former manager allegedly misused money meant for tuition fees and air tickets. The former manager is accused of fraudulently making agreements with the students, transacted money worth over 2 million yutam, and misused the company's name, seal, and logo. The incident took place in December last year. Now the students are asking for refund.
당아치기 론데 야친 코라기 텐테베 다 미디기 사이제 와친다 미디기 미토글로 당아치 알루 추탐데 지유라 안디 추기 론디 가이라 콜루포 데 야친다 거기 미제 와친다 당아치레 에젠기라다 아니베 차르베고 노세 노멜
Gule Bishudadi, he was suspended from the office. And that's Gule Bishudadi, Kogi ani alu ni sumdim chetiru saise Kogi confess penubase. So we were worried that maybe ngachituria Kogi sasongose, Tingachi Ming the Kogi confession na mathenuba. Tingaita Ludi, Ngachi the BP na case chogumi reason dira. Ani telephone to the employee of PPA. So we thought that PPA was responsible for our loans, student visas and all. The last Nabiabdulu Madam MD was like directly blaming to telephone so that he has taken our money. And the telephone he's just an employee, sir. They could give me 18 10 plus or maybe 15 plus alogitiru coaching jam chigi sale of the belief be matsuba. So maybe there is someone involved from the office, maybe from other branches, sir. We just want to like clear our loans. And some problem is ngachi live be mitsavela mula. Ngachi time to time anzum na jogo wala ya ani ta ya gatti gutti lebo na jo te gatti gutti jo de boda de ngachi te zero ani phamle lango wala de la be mitsavela de ngachi live ke sun te live bin ani mindu wala ngachi anzum na te live be mitel ten tamila ngachi anzum jo de wachin te live ten tai la ngachi charu la shei anzum ten tamei la ngachi charu so ta ngachi ge tiruda kong da bipe git min thora chu bin lagara ta telephone se member gar bipe thoka min symbol dan do da ngachi tiruda telephone se tam na la telephone se be tam na ya bipe gira ani best placement agency gira charu bin na.
The agency gets offer letter for the students. It is then sent to the Labour Ministry for support letter to get loan from the Bank of Bhutan. The agent also said the accused had agreed to refund last year. The agent tried to get back the money from him, but in vain.
Ngachigi kotamba netong digi kole hamadi mapusia masil kotamba tero ro aluchigi phamchi naung be netong digi kole ngachigi shini ko chukchira te khorole tam khoroloti tele digi shile ro mapakhogi thandi takpachi lapchi digi shile khoragi anigi nale de laluchi tham malami disugi aldusu naungira anabe gane tele mamam thimi gane tham sarang ngachigi netong digi kole ro ya tipsun kaptelung ngachigi ninshupi ngachira nagi jindara junbe ata lokto tiso kibe ya junbe 진짜 뭐라기 베라야 니슈피베 텔레가 지기 할람 공야 police tingsun kakti khatule shipji lejimbe shipji beshinbe tatoya original ani netongdi yalu case dia for page gi.
We were unable to contact the former manager for comments. This is Sringdandu for BBS News.
Underage children enrolled in pre-primary schools will be given a one-time consideration for this academic session. This decision comes from the Education Ministry following a letter from the Prime Minister. The letter directed the ministry to consider its previous decision to revoke the student quotas for the students below the age of 6. The letter signed by the Cabinet Secretary was sent to the Education Ministry on Wednesday last week. The Prime Minister, Dr. Lotus Singh, directed the ministry to allow students to continue their studies as a one-time special consideration with immediate effect. An official from the ministry said this consideration was decided solely based on the Prime Minister's directives. However, from next year, both private and public schools should follow the existing rules while enrolling pre-primary students. This means a child needs to be aged 6 years or above to be enrolled in pre-primary. Almost 900 pre-primary students in both public and private schools were told their student quotas would be revoked as they were found to be underage. This was announced by the Education Ministry in May. Parents of the children then met with the Prime Minister, Dr. Lotus Singh, and requested for help. They also asked for the government to create a uniform age for pre-primary enrollment in both government and private schools to avoid confusions regarding the age limit from next year. For Pema Sewang, Sonampem for BBS News. Bhutan is home to a wide array of flora and fauna, including some endangered and endemic species. Despite this, Bhutan is not a top ecotourism destination. This, according to the Director General of Tourism Council of Bhutan, could possibly be due to lack of ecotourism specialized guides.
Ecotourism is tourism directed towards responsible travel to natural areas that conserves the environment, sustains the well-being of the local people, and involves interpretation and education. Tourism per se is one of the most important jewels of Bhutan, but promoting ecotourism is still a challenge.
We need guides, for instance, guides specialized in the ecotourism related. So somebody has to be expert in the birds, somebody has to be expert in, like earlier, even in the presentation, Mr. Fernando, he's a snake guide Lomo. So like this, I mean, we need so many specialization, the plant, the entomologies, the, taxonomies. So we need this kind of specialization in our guiding sector. And as of now, I feel maybe we don't have enough specialization.
Albert Teo, an ecotourism ninja, gave a talk on ecotourism in Thimphu. The Malaysian has won many awards and recognition in ecotourism, including the famous Pacific Asia Travel Association or PATA Golden Award in 2015. He has also featured in National Geographic's Unique Lodges of the World. He sees a great potential in Bhutan to be a top ecotourism spot.
The culture, I think, is very interesting. The people, the culture, the environment. I haven't seen the flora and fauna much, especially the fauna. I presume that you have a lot of endemic plants, insects, birds, animals. Only problem is you need a lot of skilled guides to bring these people to see these places.
The Tourism Council said community involvement is yet another key to guaranteeing more success to ecotourism business venture, which is very rare. Not much had happened in terms of specialization in ecotourism as of now. Samtan Dolkar, BBS News.
Water Flagship Program planned to start in this fiscal year will now see some changes as per the recommendations made by the relevant stakeholders. Initially, the Flagship Program only included drinking water, but as per the recommendations from the government, the Flagship Program will now include irrigation water.
A thorough discussion was held yesterday during a review meeting attended by the Prime Minister. The flagship program will be led by National Environment Commission and implemented by Ministry of Works and Human Settlement, Cross-National Happiness Commission and Health and Agriculture Ministries. The program has identified 11 districts and 4 tomdes for protecting critical watersheds and wetlands. Improving drinking water supply and providing safe drinking water 24/7 and providing adequate irrigation water wherever necessary are the main components of the flagship program. The areas were identified based on the number of houses and water supply per hour per day. The Prime Minister said irrigation water is also equally important as most places share irrigation and drinking water sources. 3 billion niltrum has been allocated for the flagship program, which, according to the officials, could not be enough for the entire project. For long-term sustainability, the Prime Minister said more of research and feasibility studies needs to be done. The annual performance agreement for the flagship program will be signed next month. This is Komal Kharka for BBS News.
According to the figures from the Royal Monetary Authority, Bhutan's outstanding external debt as of March this year stands at $2.65 billion, which translates to about 183 billion newton. Consequently, the debt to GDP ratio is 111%, meaning that the debt size of the country exceeds the size of the country's economy by 111%, which is up by over 5% from December last year.
Of the total debt, over 136 billion is rupee-denominated debt and convertible currency debt make up over 684 million dollars, which is about 47 billion newton. Convertible currency debt increased by over 2 billion newton in a year span, while rupee debt grew by almost 10 billion newton since March last year. The country's GDP as of March stands at 164 billion newton. Loans from the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank alone constitute over 528 million dollars of the convertible currency debt. Hydropower has an outstanding loan of over 122 billion rupees of the total rupee debt of over 136 billion rupees. In addition, the Government of India line of credit reflects another 7 billion rupees in debt. Tala Hydropower Project has cleared off all its debt since the end of last year. The Punachanchu 1 has a pending loan of 46 billion rupees, Punachanchu 2 has 40 billion rupees and Mandechu has 34 billion rupees outstanding. The Nikachu project also accumulated a loan of 1.5 billion rupees as of March this year. A decade ago, the country's total outstanding debt was just 35 billion newton, 56% of the GDP, and of the total debt, 61% was for hydropower. With the construction of multiple hydropower projects since then, this ratio has doubled today and still more than 66% of total debt is due to the hydropower project. Sharab Doji, BBS News.
Housing crunch is not a new story in Samdrup Khartoumde. Getting affordable and comfortable house for rent in Samdrup Khartoumde is not easy. Many struggle to get one.
Sonam Topge just got job 6 months ago and he was posted in Samdrup Dzongkhag administration. He said he was excited to start his career and had many plans like buying furniture and other household items. But after reaching Samdrup, Sonam Topge could not find a house to stay. He has been living in a hotel room for a month now.
When I reached here at first, I got one room which I paid 3000 newton, but the room condition was not good. There was no water supply at all. Then I decided to shift and I got help from my friends and seniors to get a house and they adjusted one hotel room for me. Actually, if I pay daily for the room, I have to pay more, but the hotel owner agreed for monthly rent and I pay 5000 for it. But with one room, it is not comfortable.
But many shares the same story.
It is very difficult to get a comfortable house. Here we have Dzongkhag administration, Thomde, regional offices and other private offices. So population is more here and getting a house is not easy. I have been here for more than a year and still I did not get one comfortable house. I stay in one-room house.
They said most of the building owners rent their buildings for commercial purpose and suggest the government to construct enough government houses.
There are many buildings here, and from my own experience, I feel there is housing problem because many Indian shopkeepers out here have rented private residential houses to keep their goods. So I feel if those houses could be provided to us first, housing problem will be solved.
We don't get a house because firstly landowners does not construct many buildings out here. If they construct it for commercial purposes.
Some of the civil servants brought the issue in the Dzongkhag Tsogdu last month. The meeting decided that the Thomde administration, along with relevant agencies, should monitor the housing problem and solve it. Meanwhile, the National Housing Development Corporation and the National Pension and Provident Fund have allocated government units to about 200 people in Samru-Dzongkhar Thomde. But it is not enough. The National Housing Development Corporation plans to construct more. Until then, more and more people might have to live in hotels just like Sonam Topge. For Kille Wangchuk in Samru-Dzongkhar, this is Tandon Finso for BBS News.
Bhutan was recognized with the ICC Cricket for Change Initiative Award at the International Cricket Council Conference in London, England. The award is a testimony to Bhutan Cricket Council Board's efforts in creating awareness about health and other social issues through the game of cricket.
BCCB's General Secretary Dambar Gurung received the award at the function. According to the General Secretary, BCCB works with UNICEF Bhutan to spread the message about adolescents' issues through cricket has contributed to the award.
Through this platform, we want to give a lot of awareness to all our cricketers so that they can take cricket as a core of life, which will help them to become a good cricketer tomorrow, a good citizen tomorrow. We don't know how many will play for Bhutan, how many will represent Bhutan in cricket, but we know that they will represent Bhutan in so many other areas.
The award function, attended by associated members of the ICC, was held as part of the recently concluded Cricket World Cup. Sharab Doji, BBS News.
And the country's first ever weightlifting championship was organized in Thimphu recently. 30 athletes took part in the tournament, which will now be among the most prestigious events on the country's sports calendar.
The championship was the first major activity the Bhutan Weightlifting Association organized after its establishment in 2017. Going by the numbers of participants and audience present, the sports future in the country looks promising.
I can see how excited our Bhutanese athletes are also. I feel that in the future we'll be able to do well. In the next 5 years, I'm hopeful that this team of ours evolve, and especially junior lifters, junior and youth lifters evolve, and they will bring a lot of medals for Bhutan.
Weightlifting sports has two lifts, the snatch and the clean and jerk. The snatch is a controlled, balanced lift of the barbell from the floor to an overhead position in a single motion. The clean and jerk is a two-stage lift, allowing the athlete to regain his or her composure halfway through before pushing the barbell above the individual. The participants competed in 5 different categories of senior male and female, junior male and female, and youth. Cheki Gelson lifted a total of 200 kilograms in the senior men's category to win the gold, while in senior women's category, Sonam Chuki claimed the title lifting a total of 90 kilograms.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winners in the women's category.
In the junior males category, Karma Wanshu lifted a total of 110 kilograms and won the gold.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winners in the junior male category.
Meanwhile, in the junior females category, Sanjana Gurung took the top spot after lifting a total of 69 kilograms. Bir Bahadur won the youth category, for which there were only male participants. The youngest contenders were Tegel and Tenzipi Thoyang, both 11 years of age. Besides winning the third spot in the junior male and female categories, they were also awarded special recognition medals for participating in the championship despite being underage.
I love weightlifting. My father, who is a weightlifting coach, is my inspiration. I get to learn a lot from him. When I grow up, I will become a weightlifting athlete and try and win the Asian Championship.
I am happy that I took part and even won a medal. My coach, fellow athletes and a Chinese weightlifting athlete inspired me. I want to become like the Chinese athlete Lu.
The event is an official qualification for the winners to take part in the South Asian Games, which will be held in Nepal towards the end of this year. Samtan Dolkar, BBS News.
Well, that's all for this week. Thank you for joining us.